In the beginning, we see that a boy is driving a car and he is listening to the radio. He hears news that a press conference was held over a drug scandal in which Young and Hwan is involved. He is a member of the 8-year-old idol group, namely New Boys. The members have apologized by saying that they would all spend time reflecting on themselves. The boys were shocked by hearing this news, and he thought that he shouldn't have trusted Young and Hwan at all. New Boys, the 8-year-old idol group, has become a hot topic on the radio now, and he is the leader of said group. His name is Yoon. They were the idols of a small entertainment company, successful in their own respected ways. All of the members even renewed their contracts and had a loyal following. But it all came crashing down after one of our members got involved in this scandal. The boy was thinking. Then he saw the news that Young and Hwan admits to drug-related crime, and the news spread all over. Even some people were saying that New Boys are related to the drug crime, and some people were saying that they even don't like this group from the beginning. Only the evidence of this crime has gone viral, and if they have been around for 8 years, they had a good drunk. People were thinking and discussing it, and then that boy was thinking, why does the entire group have to suffer when Bastard scripts up? Because he was thinking that because of one person, only the entire group is facing the crime issue. Yoon did his best to become an ideal lover for many. Then his brother texted him that he will be late for practice today. Then the boy was thinking that he have to do all the practice alone. Only even after debuting they practice as hard as when they were trainees. Then he entered his brother's room. He saw that his brother is smoking, and he said that your vocal teacher told you not to smoke. We were making a comeback soon. What are you going to do if you review your vocal cords? Then his brother replied that it's like he is a ghost and use everything. He will quit smoking after this last few hits. And even he was saying like it's a cigarette only, and he plans that even if he do drug or something in cigarette can probably kill him. And even Shion is confused that when he already knows that this thing kill him, then why is doing all these so? His brother's name is Young and Hwan. He asked him what was wrong with him as the group leader. I tried my best to make sure none of the members went stray, but I can't believe this is the result of that. I shouldn't have handled it then and there. He thinks that it's hard to restore the group's image once it's ruined. But is there any way to move forward without junk? Yoon was thinking all these and even thinking that the new song is going to release soon. But he was thinking all this while driving when suddenly his car hit somewhere and he met with an accident and his car crashed. And he was so bleeding. Then he hears as the pitch black night comes to an end and the light of the day is coming our way. Then he becomes unconscious, and he is thinking, did I die? He was thinking he had to release the songs he made and respond to fans. Then he saw a card on which it was written, thank you so much for spending your precious time with me. I feel encouraged because of your constant support. See you soon. Yoon is thinking that he has to get back on stage, and he doesn't want to die like this. Then he wakes up in bed, and he sees himself alive. He is stunned that he is alive even though he was hit by such a big truck. Then he heard something from outside of his room. Aegu, you heartless man. How could you just leave it like that? The thoughts like this voice seem like his mom's and Shiyun's. Then he went outside and saw that his mom was crying because she thought that Shiyun was no more. But when they saw him in front of their eyes, they were shocked. Shiyun's uncle asked him if he is feeling well or rest a little longer. You must be weak from crying all day yesterday. He was shocked that his uncle was saying this because he knew that he was unconscious. Then he saw his father's picture, and he was stunned that his father died when he was 17. He was panicked by seeing that. What was all this going on? Did he return to his past? Then he started thinking about his past life. After his father died, he immediately started working part-time. He was missing his life where he was doing practice, and his teacher asked him, you didn't practice properly. Did you even debate like this? And that's how you ended up living crown. You are thinking I brought an idol now sound star and sickening. Why did he have to come back to this time in life? It would have been better if you went back to the time before he was a trainee. What if he ends up like he did? Then someone clicks his picture and says, Mr. Shiyun, how do you feel about this situation? Shiyun feels like he has a great deal of responsibility regarding the situation. As the leader, in order to take responsibility, all of his members will take time to reflect on themselves. Still, he was happy to be on stage since he was able to personally show his fans the performances that they worked hard to prepare. But it was fun to prepare them according to the concept. Because he was in the past, he thought that he knew the future and what would happen next. He thought that he had an opportunity to use it, and he thought that it's the best opportunity to become the best leader, like he had always dreamed of, so he went to the Crown Entertainment office. The CEO asks his manager about how the audition preparation is going on. Then the manager claims that he has already given notice to the trainees, and what's left is to proceed as planned. Then, when the CEO asks him about the confirmed members, he provides the list that he has already prepared and shows it to the CEO. Young Wang Quan is the CEO of Crown Entertainment. He started reading all the names that were written in the diary. The names were Lee Kyung-hoon, Shim Young-ho, Sung Joon, and Do Shi-yoon. He said that he saw Rocky Rainey's and was sure that they were talented. But isn't she the trainee who lost his father recently? And isn't he active in the dance crew that Junghead and Choi Jae-hoon created? Then his manager replied yes, but although it's crew made by Choi Jae-hoo, as far as he knows, he just made it and left soon after. Manager Lee, the public won't go that far to consider that. Then the manager compliments Shi-yoon, saying that he is much more talented compared to the other train. And above all, he has quite the talent for composition. And he asks the CEO to trust him. Then the CEO says to his manager that this is a business. People just come at your full speed. The second thing catches their eye these days. You also know that it's no longer an era where people sell just because they are prettier. You can't tell what will happen to those who give up with nothing, so it's best to keep that uncertain variable in mind. See, you don't want to take that person on the team. There, on the next day, he went to the Crown Entertainment practice room where they were practicing. When he started to dance, he just fell down and his legs slipped. Then, someone is coming to the practice room. That person hears some sounds, words that sound like someone just fell down. Then, that person enters the room, and when that person sees another one who is dancing in the room, isn't it that person asking who fell down? That person thinks that it has been a while since he last danced. He's thinking that he should try syncing with the song, as his body is perfectly fine even if he keeps practicing. A teenager's stamina is really the best, he thinks. Now, he was planning for the debut also. It's okay for you to be out here practicing already. That person enters the room. That person was Lee Kyung-hoon, the Crown Entertainment's trainee number 17. He said, I heard you weren't even able to sleep properly at the funeral hall. I am sure teacher also told you to rest a bit longer, but why are you here this early? Then she recognizes that person as Shi-yoon. It has been a while since she last saw him. Just go and hug that person, she says. That person was shocked. Why is he acting like this? That person asks him, are you really okay? We just saw each other a few days ago, so why are you acting like this? He replies, it has been 10 years for me. Kyung-hoon, who trained as his friend, debuted first as the main vocal of Henix in his past life. To raise the group's popularity, Crown Entertainment went all out, sparing no expenses. Everybody would see them wherever they looked because they were so famous. They even went so far as to make merchandise, and with a series of hit song releases, Henix quickly became a top idol group. Then Shi-yoon thought that he was busy preparing for his own debut with JS Entertainment during that time. That's why they weren't really in touch either. Kyung-hoon complimented him by saying that he is doing great. Then Shi-yoon says that they have to work hard for the debut faster. He was wondering when he should tell Kyung-hoon because of the circumstances, but they said that they are hosting auditions for the Henix debut group soon. That reminds Shi-yoon that it happened not too long after the funeral. Then Kyung-hoon jolts him by saying that he can do this. Time to show them what we can do. They both practice all night, and Shi-yoon agrees, saying, definitely, let's debut together. Then he went to his room and saw a piano board. He thought, how long has it been since I last took this out? He started playing the board and then remembers his past life when the dust piled on this thing was no joke after he set it aside since becoming a trainee. He used to think of it so dearly back then. He thought that he had long decided what he wanted to be. Ever since he was young, he fell in love with the flashy performance of an idol group that he just happened to see on TV. And since then, he aspired to be an idol. Then his dad complimented him, saying that he sings well. He agreed with the same and said that he is going to be an idol in the future. His dad was happy and said, you will of course become a great idol. Then he thinks that what must he do to be one? He still doesn't have the answer to that, but he decided to compose a song that he's most confident in. New boys had trouble receiving good songs due to the insincere attitude they had from the start of the debut. That's why they started composing after teaching themselves and worked like dogs to pick out good songs. They were really working hard for picking the songs up. Then he thinks that this song is coming together pretty well. He hopes they get first place again. That's how things were, but then he realizes that not to dwell in the past. It won't be enough with just a composition this time. If he doesn't want to fail like he did, then he also has to produce it himself. Only then the day of the Henix auditions. Then they went to the audition, and Shi-yoon sees that everyone is talking about the judges who were coming from outside for this audition. And 3 of them were employees, but one of them was a big producer of the songs whose name is Baek Si-woo. Everyone was shocked at how this composer came in this audition to take all this because he was really a big composer, and even his songs come first all the time. Then Shiyun sees that one person is looking at his phones all the time and was listening to his song. But Shiyun was tense, and he thought it's a song that he made last minute, but this much should be enough. He's thinking, which song I made, is that enough or not? Is it will work or not? The song was Hot Darkness, if memory serves. He knows that he has to impress him if he wants to be acknowledged when he debuted. Then they call trainee number 23. Please come in. The trainee number 23 is none other than Shiyun. He's pretty sure he's not going to mess up this time. This opportunity is very crucial. Then he introduces himself to the judges, and they greet everyone. Then they ask him how he prepared all this, and he said that he self-composed the song. Judges were shocked at how this kid can do all this, composing songs and all. They just were sure that he will do best, and even he will be in the first place of the monthly evaluations. Then he started singing, and the lines of the song were like, fall into the darkness, fall into the hot darkness, is this really the end? The judges were confused. What the hell is this rap? Everyone was reacting as expected. Well, doesn't matter, he is so confident. Baek Shin-woo asks him, would you look at that? Because he was so impressed by his song. He was just wondering how this kid is singing like this. In the audition green room, everyone was speaking with each other, discussing each and everything about the dancers' performances. Queen Lee was thinking, from where did he get clothes like that? She used to think he was probably doing well because it has been a while since he's been inside. Then, in the audition room, judges were so confused because he was really performing well. His rap is characterized by an imprecise pronunciation, as if once mumbling. It's a mumble rap, a hip-hop genre that began to grow in popularity in the middle of 2010, later entering the mainstream scenes by the latter half of the decade. However, it is also a genre that's quite divisive amongst its detractors and promoters due to its strong impression. If it's Baek Shin-woo, he would recognize mumble rap potential. Then, one of the judges said, that's enough for the rap, let's move on to the dance now. He started to dance, and the steps were so impressive. Seeing this, he recognized that this style of rap he had heard before at an American record label. He thought, that's a genre that doesn't even have a name yet because of its ambiguous identity. The judges were thinking, fall into the hot darkness. Looking at the point in the beat, his pits thought, I think he made this knowingly. Just who the hell is this trainee? Judges were confused that this person is really doing well, and his dance is also very impressive. One judge is confused about who trained this person like this. How can a little boy do all these things by himself? Maybe it's because he is a part of Rakai, but he really does dance well. Then the judge says, but Mr. Shiyun, did you compose that song on your own? He replied, yes, from composing to writing the lyrics, I did it all myself. Then they said, but considering that your specialty is rap, it's a bit hard to listen. It was still enjoyable to listen to. Thank you for your hard work. Then he left the audition room, and after 2 weeks, he was shocked by looking at the result because in the list where all the members are successful in their auditions, there were no names of Shiyun. He was so angry with the judges that he said, are the judges doing their job well or not? Do they know about the great talent? He was so depressed looking at the results, but his friend Kyung-hoon is selected in the audition. He says, we were supposed to debut together, but I am sorry, you are selected. He was internally happy that he didn't make it, but he was happy that he succeeded in catching Baek Shin-woo's attention. And he is thinking that if that judge asks me, did you make it by your own? Then really he makes a place in his mind. He thinks that he knows he doesn't hear a singer's word unless he is interested. But if he asks him a question, that means he succeeded in getting his attention. But he was depressed because he is the only one who made it. He deserves a little more, but alright, his friend says, don't worry too much. Then he appreciates his friend and inspires him to do well. Ji-yoon tells him to call his family because they will be waiting for the results. Then he went from the audition room, and he decides that his plans begin from now. He thinks that Henix became a top idol group. The members are only allowed to do whatever Crown Entertainment management tells them to do. What he needs is a place where he can be recognized as an artist. In addition, it has to be a place where he can make use of his previous life experience to compensate for his shortcomings, which leads him to this place, which is JS Entertainment. It is the place where a smaller agency that made. They have had success in the industry with its girl group and a solid lineup of actors, but they have been particularly a fool when producing boys group. His group was also like that. Are people here who actively listen to the artist's opinion as well as the president who controls the mood well. But he thinks it's no fun to just approach them himself. He wants the upper hand. He'll have to make it so they come see him out, and he starts to prepare members. First, he thinks that a member from JS Entertainment who can also follow him well the dance crew practice room. It's a crew that focuses on street dancing with members of various occupations like office workers, freelancers, aspiring idols, and more. Everyone here is famous in the dance world for the professional level skills. It has been a while since he last came here. In the current timeline, has it been about a year? He was thinking like that. He remembered that they were busy doing the gorilla concert around this time. He is pretty sure those two are here too. Then he found them, the first member that he needs. Jai Cheng Hyun, JS. Entertainment Training Number 17. Chapter 4. One of the participants in the room was doing wrong. Then training number 17 scolded him and told him to go out of the practice room. He asked, "What's with you all of a sudden? I can't change. See your foot landing awkwardly every time you step with it. Go have it checked in the hospital quickly." He told him to visit the hospital for his treatment. He said, "I am fine." But Rainey said, "You have to visit the hospital because the doctor will decide whether you are fine or not." Then Shiyun entered the room, and he said that he came to see, obviously. Then they started training and started dancing and practicing the dance. A boy was pretty sure that he left it here tennis and make your steps wider. He was searching for a chicken sweet and sour soup in his bag, but then his training scolded him. "Did you bring sweet and sour chicken soup to the practice room again? I already told you not to bring it in the practice room." Then the trainee took that sweet and sour sauce from that boy's hand, and he's away that boy was. And the trainer said, "Do you take your leader's verse as a joke?" He was thinking that this boy is taking him for granted. He says, "How many times I have told you not to bring this food because it is prohibited here." That boy was so tense. He is requesting that training please give it back because he was so star, and he is saying that I can't dance if I star. The name of that boy is Go Yi-woong, trainee number 15. And he says to the boy to wipe up the sauce from his mouth before the talk. That boy wipe this. Then Shiyun enters the room and great dead boy. That boy was so happy seeing him, and he says that he's still the same. The reason he is here because of these two in his past life. The three of them were very close friends as they were all trainees and members of the same dance crew. However, both of them got tired of the long training period and left JS Entertainment. He hasn't been never to get in touch with them since he thinks that maybe they could have debuted together then, but this time he is not going to let them split up like that did that time. Dead boy asks him, "It has been a while. Why didn't you come visit sooner?" He replied, "Oh well, I couldn't visit early because my father just passed away. Sorry." They were shocked by hearing this because they even didn't have any idea about the Shiyun that his father is no more. They ask him, "But why didn't you tell us? Why didn't even know that?" And he replied, "I was busy at the time, so sorry for not contacting you." Then that boy said, "Please let me know if you are having a hard time in the future." Then another one side looks at that gone face of his. Can he even be an idol like that? This won't do. Let's go out to eat or something, guys. The little boy asks, "Then how about chicken?" "I didn't ask you. I want to eat mini chicken." Then again that boy said, "I didn't ask you." The little boy says, "What's that?" Shiyun also wants chicken. Go Yi-woong, you really are shameless. Chicken sounds good. Let's go. They went outside and got some food. Then he says, "Thanks for the meal, Chang Hyun. Shall we warm up a bit now that we are full?" Turn the voice, "Let's dance a bit while you are here." Then the trainee says, "Put more gusto into it, come on." Shiyun notices that the practice room is pretty crowded today. The leaders said we are going to be a busking in 2 weeks, so we are practicing. King Jong-hoon leader, the recent much time left, but you can join if you are interested. That boy says to Shiyun, "It's been a while since you will see you came. But you are going to make him work, that's too much." Then he replied, "Why not? I don't mind joining. I happen to have some changes to recommend to opinions here. Can you call over Jong-hoon Hyung?" Hongdae Playground, the day of the event where everyone were discussing about all this. Then the little boy Vasu worried and yes that will he able to do well since choreographer changed quite a bit. His friends say, "Let's go. It's completely possible. You can do it." Everyone, that trainee, look at that small boy. He notices that the boy is so scary. Then the training says, "Alright, we are going to start now, so get in form." 10 just getting started and the sounds big. Everyone were and sing that what's going on, a street performance. The thing they are performers, everyone rushed to the performance and they notice that it's starting. They all are looking like professional dancers as DJ starts, and all the street dancers are looking so professional. Everyone was so impressed by looking at them because they were performing on streets. Even the choreographer looks interesting. And they have never seen anything like that before around this time. The trend was repeating violent moves and, however, can't succeed by simply going with that or that. We need to show something different while still being familiar and easy to memorize, so Shiyun chooses this moderately perfect beauty a choreography trend in 10 years time and now silently stop the private. He said people were discussing that those people are good looking. even looking like celebrities. That dance is amazing. They're really in perfect sync. It looks like they practice a lot, doesn't it? 2 weeks is pretty short, but isn't it a relief that everyone in the crew was all in one the change? Then 3 of them were discussing that why don't they change the formation like this? Sounds good to me, another one says. It looks much more comfortable. Shi-yoon says, that's pretty good. Chang Hyun and Yi-woong both actively express the opinions as well. And more importantly, being able to adapt themselves to unfamiliar choreography so quickly. Those 2 may grow even bigger in the future. As expected, Shi-yoon made a good decision to go with them. Everyone was so impressed by the performance. Everyone was sharing that you guys are so cool. What's the name of your group? Everyone was thinking, and everyone was searching on their phones, and everyone is taking videos of that dance. Someone says they have seen them in Metube before. Shi-yoon has become more confident through this opportunity when he realized that with these 2 members, the group he has dreamt of. Still now we see that 3 characters were introduced. 1. Shi-yoon. 2. Go Yi-woong. 3. Jai Chang Hyun. Who will be the next? On the next day, in the school, Shi-yoon was looking here and there to see if there was anyone around. He was trying to run away and hide himself from others because he had gone viral after the explosive reaction to his fancam video of busking in Hongdae. Various agencies came to scout him as an agency-less individual. Then 2 people saw him running off. They used to follow him and requested him to take their cards at least. Then he suddenly went to the cloth showroom and stood beside the dummies. The 2 people were searching for him. Then suddenly, he left outside and ran away with his cycle. The people were scolding him that they are not bad people, but they were from JS Entertainment only. They asked him if they had heard rumors. That's why they were following him, and they gave their company card to him, asking him to contact JS Entertainment. Shi-yoon claims that he is the only person in the main street video, and for joining an entertainment company, he currently does. Shi-yoon says, you're on time. Then, in the entertainment company, his 2 friends, Jai Chang Hyun and Go Yi-woong, congratulated him on joining JS. Go Yi-woong was so happy that Shi-yoon became a part of JS. He warmly thanks both of them. He called them seniors, but Jai Chang Hyun was not happy hearing this, but Go Yi-woong liked this. Shi-yoon asked them to take care of him because it's his first day. Go Yi-woong says that both of them were heading to dance class roundabout now, and they offered Shi-yoon to join them both. Then they went to the lift, and suddenly Shi-yoon pressed the 5th floor button. Go Yi-woong was shocked that how would he know that the practice room is on the 5th floor only. He says that he got a brief rundown from the manager earlier. He does like the fact that they can choose classes here too. They also showed him around the other places where they can even use the production room if they reserve it in advance. Then he saw a class where trainees were studying together. As expected, he liked JS for the autonomy that they give. Then they went to the dance training room. Everyone was shocked by looking at Shi-yoon. Everyone was shocked that why he is here. Wasn't he around entertainment rookie? Then suddenly the dance teacher enters the room, and she was none other than Choi Hyun Jai, JS Entertainment's dance trainer, the main dancer of the girl group. But Shi-yoon was stunned by looking at her because he almost called her Nuna. She says that before we start, I have someone I'd like to introduce you to. Then she asked him to come up for a second. She asked Shi-yoon's name, and he introduced himself to the others. Hyun Jai Nuna is a person who, besides being a top idol and dancer, is also a person whom the company has a great deal of confidence in. And they both had a family-like relationship that encouraged each other whenever they were going through a hard time. Then she started the class and told everyone to line up. Then after that, they went for lunch. Go Yi-woong was so tired because teacher Hyun Jai's class is so hard. Then Shi-yoon told him to have some lunch, but that boy didn't like the green food. Jai Chang Hyun says that it can't be helped, especially if they want to join the debut team. Then Shi-yoon agrees with the same and says if you eat it you might find that it's actually quite yummy. But when he actually ate that food, the taste was awful. Thereafter his friend asked him about his first day of class. He says that it was good, making him curious about what the other classes will be like. Then he asks him if he wants to go outside around the company after they have finished eating, and he says that he's down for that. Can we see the production room first? Then they went to the production room, and he heard that it's the one place they see you pay the most attention to. Originally, they didn't let trainees use it, but now all were permitted to do so. He thought that with this equipment, he can probably make that song. He asked Chang Hyun, can I make a reservation for this room right now? They were shocked. Then how could he ask it right now only after joining JS Entertainment? His daily life was filled with going to school in the morning, doing various types of training at night, and composing music in the evening, and on weekends. He didn't know that leading such a hectic life would be 6 months later. When he was in the production room, his friends go to his room and they call him, but the room was soundproof, that's why he didn't hear anything from the outside. so they directly go inside, and they saw that the room was totally messed up and Shi-yoon's face became so scary. He didn't sleep from the day before yesterday. They asked him why he hasn't slept since the day before yesterday. What's wrong with his face? They noticed that Shi-yoon used to go to the production house daily after class finished. Then he replied that he is composing a few songs and he showed them, but he says that he will tell them more about afterward. He has something else in mind right now. In the next scene, someone asks, how are the trainees these days? All these discussions are held in the conference room. There was a trainee that recently joined that did stand out, but they believe they need to observe the 5-member boys group project situation a little bit longer. Park Young-soo, the CEO of JS Entertainment, asks the trainee whose 2 doubts do you mean? That kid Shi-yoon. She replied, yes, maybe it's because he was a crown rookie, but he is skilled at both singing and dancing. On top of that, he seems to be interested in producing as well. How are the applicants from the audition we held recently? She replied, as a matter of fact, she has to prepare a video regarding that, and he asks who is that applicant. His moments are good and his visual seems to be in demand too. Oh, this applicant is Young in H1. In the dance training room, everyone was speaking with each other, and Shi-yoon was sitting in the corner, listening to songs. He was thinking about the rhythm and bass of his track, which is not as good as he wants. He was thinking to speed up the tempo. Then his friend came to him and told him that teacher Hyun Jae is here. She tells everyone to pay attention to her because there are 2 new trainees joining, and she asks them both to introduce themselves to everyone. The first one is Young in Hwan, who is a sophomore in high school, and he says to everyone that they will debut together and work hard. Then the second one is Choi Min-chul, and he is looking forward to working with all. Shi-yoon already knows about Young in Hwan from his past. All of them start the dance training, and the teacher was teaching all about their steps and moves. They say that we have to look forward like the camera is in front of us. Then the teacher ends the class. Everyone was stunned by looking at Young in Hwan's fitness. The teacher appreciates him for his quick uptake on his first day of class, and she asks him if he has ever taken dance lessons before. He replies that he did this on his own by watching some videos and practicing alone. The teacher compliments him by saying that he'll be able to do freestyle pretty well with his current skill level. Everyone was shocked because he was well trained and self-taught. Still, he is good, and it's not easy for someone to bend themselves in power alone. After that, the teacher leaves the class and motivates everyone to work hard and reminds everyone about the monthly evaluation is on the corner. Everyone was asking Young in Hwan about his dance, that he does all this by his own or not, and is it his first time joining an entertainment company. He agrees with the same, and he thanks everyone for the compliment. Go Yi-woong wanted to dance like Young in Hwan's style. Jae Chang-hyun asks Shi-yoon where he is going. He leaves the class by saying that he is going to drink water. Even students ask him if he is really self-taught in dancing and singing too. Shi-yoon was so tired, that's why he tells them to move, and he thanks them for the compliment. Shi-yoon thought that he lost his cool for a second despite knowing that he'd be meeting him again at some point. But his emotions don't seem to have settled at all. Shi-yoon still can't forget how everything in his past life was ruined because of Young in Hwan. He cools down before they head back in. Then suddenly Young in Hwan enters and greets Shi-yoon, and he says that he heard a lot of rumors about Shi-yoon, and he asks him if he belongs from Crown Rookies or not. And he says that Shi-yoon really stood out the most among the trainees, and he thought that they both get together and it'll be a lot of fun when they debut on the same team. Shi-yoon thought, please take care of me from now, and please feel free to call me in H1. He was so angry because he lost everything because of an Hwan, and he calls him a bastard in his thought. And he was thinking that he will do everything and can get Young in Hwan kicked out. Then Shi-yoon shakes hands with him and says, nice to meet you. Let's do well together from now on. But he was not comfortable with this. Day of the monthly evaluation. Everyone was looking for the result. What will be it is. Shi-yoon was in the first number, and Young in Hwan was in the second number. Shi-yoon thought that for him to get second place in the first month of being a trainee as he already expected, he won't able to get him kicked out with just any old tactic. Anyhow, Chang-hyun and Yi-woong aren't in the top 5. We have to focus on those 2 first. But the third place in the monthly evaluation of JS training is Kim Young-hoon. Kim thought that he has to place in this table ranking like Young-hoon Hyung. Then Shi-yoon reaches out to both of them, and he asks them to get up, and he says that there is no time for you to stay down like this. So let's start from tonight. He was so angry, and he says that we will be going straight into hell training, and we will start training from now only. It's a given that it will be 3 hours a day for dance training and 3 hours for vocal training. Plus there will be a weight maintenance, photo monitoring, as well as practicing facial expressions on top of that. and Shi-yoon tells them that they both will be dead if they don't make it into the top 5, and then they start practicing. Day 3 of Hell training. Go Yi-woong was so tired because they made one move 50 times in a row. Then he suddenly hears something which was discussed, that someone is talking about Shi-yoon, and they were using bad words for him. Go Yi-woong calls Shi-yoon and tells him to listen to the discussion on call. Shi-yoon hears each and everything. Shi-yoon thanks Go Yi-woong because this call will work out easily for him. Shi-yoon plans something and thinks that they're both about to go to the YB club where Jong-hoon Hyung works. He sees it as a good opportunity to kick out Young and H1. Then Shi-yoon meets Go Yi-woong and Jae Chang-hyun. Yi-woong asks why he looks happy and who he's been talking to since morning. Shi-yoon replies it's nothing, but we plan to practice singing first, right? Let's hurry up and head into the practicing room. They enter the practice room and see that Young and H1 is practicing singing. He sees them and they look at him while he sings. Yi-woong says it's the first time he's personally heard Jong-hoon Hyung, but it's cool. He asks him how he fell to 3rd place in the monthly evaluation. Jae Chang-hyun asks Shi-yoon when he got so close with Jong-hoon Hyung. Shi-yoon replies they got close during class introductions and compliments. Then he asks him if he'd like to go to the new eatery in front of the company building with him. He agrees, and they both go to the eatery. Shi-yoon asks him to get some red ginseng for his fatigue, and Jong-hoon Hyung replies not to take care of him like this all the time. But he appreciates it. Jong-hoon thinks that the reason he is going so far as to do this is because of Shi-yoon's talents and his beautiful voice, and his ability to express the song. Before regressing, he got acknowledged for those talents and joined the debut group of. But in the end, he gave up his debut due to a frequent rise in stress with the other members because of his dissimilar disposition. He thought that he won't let Jong-hoon Hyung slip from his fingertips this time. He says that it's not too bad that he feels the ranking because, on the contrary, he has a growing desire to do better. Shi-yoon says that's why he suggested that they practice together. Anyways, he says let's work hard together like this from now on. Jong-hoon agrees with the same, but Go Yi-woong was surprised that they were really debuting together. And the results of the most recent monthly evaluation are Shi-yoon, Young and H1, Kim Young-hoon. These 3 are currently sitting at the top of the evaluation, and the majority of them are in support of the opinion to form a group centered around the 3. And so the members selected are On Young-hyuk and Park Hyun-jin. But if they consider the position of the main dancer, Jae Chang-hyun is also a promising prospect. The discussion was going on in the conference room where the president was measuring all these prospects. The president thinks that he is missing something. That's why he decides to change the way he looks for members this time around. They decide the selection through completing a team mission. The correspondent's mission to each team is to choose a song and have a dance performance. Everything from the song selection to set design will be done autonomously, and the final devoted group is said to be decided after the end of all the group's mission. Students were thinking that this is the chance for them. Then they announced that trainees who are called together, please form a group and choose a song. Students were thinking about what the president is thinking about forming a team mission out of the blue. What are they literally saying? Then the first group, Jae Chang-hyun, Kim Young-hoon, Park Hyun-jin, Choi Yi-woong, and Seo Yi-min. Group 2, Do Shi-yoon, Min Tae-woo, Lee Soo-young, Jang Young-jin, and Park Soo-hyun. Group 3, Young and H1, Choi Tae-young, Ju Young-jin, and Go Yi-woong. Go Yi-woong was surprised as he was in Group 3. He thought, that guy's the person who spoke poorly of Shi-yoon's Hindi in the bathroom, isn't he? And despite doing that, he pretends as if he didn't do that, acting all chummy. Group 4, Shin Min-hyuk, On Young-hyuk, Choi Min-chol. Then they were discussing that they hope they will do their best. Then Jong-hoon Hyung says, shall we meet together and practice starting tomorrow? He asks him, and he is glad that they were lucky with their team, though he wonders how things are for Shi-yoon's and Yi-woong's teams. He says that they picked groups based on each person's strength in mind, so it will probably be similar to them. They happen to be standing over there. Then some students call Shi-yoon's name. People were thinking that rascals are on the same team as Young and H1. Final evaluation D10. Jae Chang-hyun asks him if he finished. Then he replies that we should talk about these small details tomorrow. Did your team practice go well? He asks him. They replied, let's pick up Go Yi-woong now and go. Shi-yoon says that reminds him, Yi-woong's no joke. He even went so far as to stop eating sweet and sour chicken to lose weight, and he is working really hard. They were shocked at how that small kid quit eating sweet and sour chicken. They were totally surprised. Then they saw some students who were really very angry, and they were saying that after buttering him up and matching his face, he's really trying to take up all the good parts, isn't he? What kind of team evaluation is this when it doesn't have any of their opinions? It's rude because of Young and H1. If it doesn't work out this time around, then he is going to change agencies. Another one says, why didn't he just review as the lowest? If he was going to be like that, why did he have to come as a team? Shi-yoon thought that it looks like Young and Hwan decided everything the way he wanted. They ask, aren't they kids from Yi-woong's team? First, students were speaking about all these things. Though Yi-woong can't even express his anger like that. Will he be alright? Everyone was thinking, aren't they really hopeless? Two students were discussing that if they think it's unfair, they shouldn't have gotten a higher rank first before coming here. They can't even pull off the concept properly, so why are they even thinking about their close-ups? Seriously, they have to get angry in order for people like them to listen, don't you think so? David was discussing. In any case, you agreed to do it my way, didn't you, Yi-woong? It seems like he was planning something bad because his eyes and his intentions were totally wrong. But then another one replied, look how nice it is because you are listening to me well, he says. Then tell others the same thing. He thought that he will decide on the position and choreography, so just come easily, got it. Though Yi-woong was so depressed, and he was really very shocked, and he was thinking, what should I do? He was in stress, and he thought that at this rate, he will be eliminated from the debut group. Everyone was practicing, and they were worried about the sudden change in the evaluations, but everyone's working hard. Students notice that Group 2, especially, has a great vibe. They are energized by the fact that they have secured first place in the monthly evaluation within their group. The leader thought, despite being first, he seems to show great leadership too. This team will do well. But she was thinking, why is that team like that? Shi-yoon says, what am I supposed to do when you are not only talented but also brain dead? Young and Hwan scolds him and says, how many times do I have to tell you not to turn over our? He can't even change the song at this, so he is going to take responsibility if he fails because of him. Shi-yoon asks him, have you done talking yet? He orders him to do what he's told, but why doesn't he understand that? The leader thought that even though she is playing the role of leader right now, why is Young and Hwan so dissatisfied? She asks him, what's going on? The atmosphere looks serious. He raises his hands towards him and says to do it properly. Go Yi-woong was so stressed by looking at Young and Hwan's face. Then the leader tells all of them to go back to their places. She thought that the members didn't look so great, but was she mistaken? She questions herself only. Today's practice finishes. Great work everyone, Shi-yoon says to everyone. He was so hungry. He is thinking about what he should eat now, but even he notices that it's dinner time. And it's nighttime, but still, Yi-woong's group is still practicing. He didn't even get to see his face once today. He was thinking to head over there and cheer them a little bit. Then he entered the room and asked Yi-woong, are you practicing alone? And he brought chicken sour for him and says, you didn't idiot at this and then practice. Yi-woong is being so emotional by seeing that he brings his favorite meal, sweet and sour chicken. That made him cry. Shi-yoon asks, what happened? He replied that he chose the song and arranged the choreography by himself and even stole the main part too. And all the other team members are mad. He even brought sexy and homme fatale concepts that are advantages for him too. I don't fit well with those concepts, he says. What kind of team mission is this Young and Hwan? That person is really selfish. Yi-woong says this to Shi-yoon. He says that if that kind of person makes their debut, then there will be a disaster. Shi-yoon asks him, why don't you personally tell him if it bothers you so much? He can't do that because he can't even do the choreography properly, and if he brings it up needlessly, then what if he shaves down even further on the little parts that he was able to receive? Yi-woong really doesn't know what to do. Shi-yoon says that Yi-woong has to just take a rid of the problems. It looks like right now, the biggest problem is Young and Hwan. Just that one person. Yi-woong just has to handle him. Shi-yoon knows why Young and Hwan's words and actions don't line up. It's because he wants to look good in front of the management even if he has to operate the other team members, which he pleases to do. The place where Young and Hwan will be most sensitive is a place where there are a lot of peoples. Young and Hwan asks him, you want to change the parts after all this time? Why do you want to change them at this point where there is only 1 week until the evaluation? Right now, almost the parts are yours. Hyung, please distribute the parts so that the other team members can be seen as well. Yi-woong scolds them that it's a team evaluation. Young and Hwan angrily grabs his collar and asks him, you agreed with me before, then why do you want to change the parts? Seriously, you are already a piece of that, you are in the team that's below standards, and now you are this loser looking down on me. The leader asks them, what's going on? Young and Hwan tells her that it's just a little team meeting. Young and Hwan says to him that he feels proud of Yi-woong because he says this. Since he has a place Young and Hwan needs to stop by, why doesn't he practice with the others first? Yi-woong's friend asks him if he's alright or not. He wants to have a little meeting with them. They thought that Yi-woong was a little nervous, but he expressed himself well. Yi-woong will grow even further through this incident. Final evaluation D-Day. Young-hoon is singing and dancing. Judges surprisingly discussing that Young-hoon has a good voice, and he can even pull off this sort of dance song too. They even chose a refreshing piece that fits their team's timbre. Looking at their skills, it looks like they'll be able to pull off other concepts as well. One of them asks, is Group 2 next? It's the group where the trainee DP Shi-yoon is in. It looks like they prepared an upbeat concept for their group. Judges were looking forward to it. The Group 2 will begin. Shi-yoon starts his performance as expected by judges. Shi-yoon notices that everyone is reacting well, but why does the president look like that? The evaluation ends and everyone left outside. Students were discussing their steps, but Shi-yoon was stressed because earlier, the president's expression seemed contemplative. However, he was confident that our team had a great formation. Then he hoped there were no problems for Chang Hyun or Young-hoon Hyung in Group 1. He heard that judges called Group 3 the group of Young and H1. He thought Yi-woong must be nervous. Shi-yoon motivated him and told him to give his best. Yi-woong was confident. Young and H1 told everyone to stand by in their positions. The performance started, and after some time, now it's Yi-woong's turn. Judges were stunned by Young and H1's performance. He was doing it fabulously, but Yi-woong was also doing well, and the dance ended. Everyone appreciated Yi-woong for his best performance. He was a little disappointed but had no regrets. Shi-yoon wished to perform with his friends next time. Everyone teased Yi-woong, and they went to dinner. The president asked everyone about the audition. They voiced their opinions. Everyone talked about Shi-yoon because he came first in the last month's evaluation and still took care of his team members who were lagging behind, helping them sell themselves on stage. Judges planned to make Shi-yoon a leader if he debuted. Shim Sung-ho, the team leader of JS Entertainment's A&R department, stated, in terms of skill, Young and H1 leaves nothing lacking. He is also well aware of how to capture the public's needs. Young and H1 is the main dancer, but his vocals and rap are perfected to go up against larger companies. But this time, Go Yi-woong performed well, and he will elevate the level of perfection no matter the concept. He also did a good job as a part of the sub-vocalists. Everyone in the conference room discussed the performers, and they were confused about Young and H1 and Go Yi-woong's performance. Both of them were good in the performance, but the 15-year-old who did all this is none other than his Young. Then the leader knocked on the conference room because there is something she must urgently report to the president. It's all about Young and H1. She whispers in his ears about Young and H1 with solid evidence. The president asks her to bring Young and H1 in front of him right now. He was so angry, but Young and H1 was so overconfident that he is thinking that he is only the one who was selected. Then he enters the room and he was stunned by looking at Min Cheol with the president. The president asks Young and H1 about the things shown on the laptop and asks him to explain this. When Young and H1 looked at those pictures, he was taking it very casually, but the president was so angry at him. Young and H1 says it looks so cool because this photo was taken at a party, and then he calls off the photo, and he shows all the photos to the president. The president angrily says, going to parties free at your current position can boot you out of here. He was so scared by looking at the president's behavior, and he apologized to him. He wanted to explain everything, but he can't because the president doesn't want any explanation. Min Cheol and Young and H1 were debating. Young and H1 was trying to put all of his blame on Min Cheol. Then suddenly, the leader approaches them, and the leader starts one recording which she has recorded. She says, I went to the bathroom and just so happened to hear Mr. Young and H1 and Mr. Choi Min Cheol's conversation. Young and H1 was trying to make himself safer, and he said, I have such evidence that in any case, Choi Min Cheol must say, you really have the smart to full stuff like this. I'll make you one too. Then the president says to Cheese that he won't be expelled from here as of today. Young and H1 arguing with the president gets serious. There, throwing got talent like him win. She's pretending to be a very talented person in front of the president, and he's asking the president why he's throwing him out. Is it the agency's responsibility to cover up things like this? He was so angry. President and Grill replied, I don't know if you take the job of an idol, but if you want this thing normalized, then there won't be a single company in this industry that will want you to get out of here. Then some students sees the post that Young and H1 is in the post with some girls, and also, students hear that he has been kicked out soon. Then Shi-yoon and his friends were discussing that they got goosebumps thinking of all that acting he has shown them this whole time because Yi-woong must have gone through a lot. Shi-yoon realized that Jong-hoon Hyung's editing skills are amazing. On the other scene, Shi-yoon was speaking with Jong-hoon Hyung's on a phone call very silently, and he made him remember that he had mentioned that he was looking for a model to promote the club. So, he wanted to recommend him something that there are two of them who are both handsome as well as good dancers, so he thinks the response will be good. Please send him a picture to his messenger, and he says him to take a look at that he is the picture. Then he realizes the promotion will really do well. Then he says, then please do me a favor. Go Yi-woong says that he had such a hard time because of Young and H-wan that day, but it just so happened that Shi-yoon Hyung bought him some sweets and sour chicken. And thanks to Yi-woong that he was able to record it and get rid of Young and H-wan. Then all the friends saw that Shi-yoon is so depressed. They think that he is so depressed, but in reality, he was so happy that he did that because he already knows that because of Young and H-wan in his past birth, he met with an accident. That's why he was happy that he did this and he kicked out Young and H-wan. He was happy that he protected it this time round. Then he wakes up and moves to the next step. He asks Yi-woong for the chicken sour soup, and he asks everyone to meet him at his home today, because he wanted to show them something unique. The project is getting agonizing for the president because of Young and H-wan's expulsion. Shi-yoon thought that if he takes advantage and appeals with the song which he composed, then he'll get the chance to debut faster. In the conference room, everyone was so much job because if they postpone the debut, then it's no different from wasting the investment. And president thinks that well that doesn't mean we can let an unprepared group perform either, it can't be held, let's put out the girls group first as usual. President decided and he holds off on the boys group project. Then they went with him to his home and he showed them his song. Everyone was shocked by listening to his song because they were really stunned. The song was really so good. Everyone was asking him how did he compose this song. Then he says that he has been rigorously preparing so he could debut with them with this song. Yi-woong says that even making a song to appeal to the president despite being busy, and considering performing that song with us too, he is so touched. The song was really good, but they were confused that debuts by appealing, can they do that? It's not like all of them are confident about their skills, and the debut team situation isn't that great either, and the evaluation has yet to be published. But Shi-yoon was so confident because he knows that this can be an opportunity for him, and he thinks the idea of appealing itself will set them apart from the other trainees. Then they cheers to each other, and they say that he will be the leader. Then on the other scene, at the practicing time, they have to do a lot of practice. Some of them throats were also feeling a bit sore. Then they took a break, and they realized that it makes sense they are tired since they went in right after the evaluation ended. But the progress is lower than he thought that pro value because the wife of the song changed a lot as they added vocals to it. He expected it, but there really is a limit to how far the low pitch range can go. Overall he needs vocals that can add strength to the song, but he has filled it. But was there a person like that in JS? Then in the vocal training hall, everyone was practicing the song. Shi-yoon couldn't even sleep well last night because he kept thinking about this song. His eyes were so dark because he didn't sleep for 2 days. Then a trainee approaches them all, and he says that he's sure they all practiced this song which he gave as the assignment, right? He asks them, he'll let anyone who has practiced leaves court free today, so is there anyone who wants to confess? Yeah, everyone responded to this question. Then someone in the class put his hands together and says that he apologizes. It's his first time taking this class, so he completely forgot because he is attending his first class today. Then the trainee asks him to introduce himself by a song. His name is Aiden. Shi-yoon realizes that he hasn't seen him before, but he was confused. Did the future change because of Young and H-wan's expulsion? Aiden starts his song. Everyone was shocked, but Shi-yoon was so stunned because he's seen him for the first time. But everyone knows that he is someone who primarily takes acting classes and he is an aspiring actor. Shi-yoon thought that he has a low-pitched gesteel vocals rich voice reminiscent of a cave. He is a member which Shi-yoon's team really needs right now. Then after the performance, he met with Aiden and he introduced himself to him and decides that he can feel a good energy emanating from him. Actually, he is in the middle of planning something. But this isn't the best place to tell him so by chance. Are you free right now? He asks Aiden. Aiden scolds loudly and says that he is atheist. Then he makes him feel that he is not a weird person. He is composing something that he thought that ad and voice would go well with his song, which is why he stopped him. Then when Aiden listens to that song, he was so surprised by this pleasure. Recording was done with his friends who are also preparing to debut in his agency. His goal is to finish this song as debut as a boys group. You know that ad and I is an aspiring actor. But he was certain about it, so as soon as he heard his voice by chance, he asks him that do he have any thoughts of being an idol. Then I says that he only to acting classes to practice his facial expression and learn how to look at the camera. Shi-yoon was so surprised by hearing this, and Adan also says that his dream is to be a singer, and he agrees with the same that he wants to become an idol to hell do it with Shi-yoon. I didn't like this song so much, and he asks him when he will start recording today's class, and around 18 the evening what he is fine with recording even if it's late at night. Then he went to the home and organized his plan. Then Shi-yoon opens his computer and he sees that he has already sent this song to the company, but still that didn't reply even though they had read the mail. He was so stressed out because they are not responding even after opening it. How dare they ignore his music? Then at the Big Star Entertainment, someone asks to the chief that there is a demo song that has been sent to the company, please give it a listen. Then Chief listens to that song, and he realizes that this song is written by an amateur, and Chief says to her to call the composer.